Please join me for Ask the Good Doctor, live today and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central Standard Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bring your questions.
On my YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. And please, if you could, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yes. Ask the Good Doctor, LaJoyce Brookshire. Like, comment, and subscribe. Good afternoon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Ask the Good Doctor. I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, and we are here to help you attain, maintain, and reclaim your perfect health. So thank you so much for joining us. Follow me on Twitter at Ask the Good Doc, on Instagram and Facebook at Ask the Good Doctor. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and leave your comments as well. I'd like to introduce to you someone who's going to shed some light on an issue that we have today, especially in the face of a virus. And I have one question for you. Is your home killing you? Are the products that you are using to keep your home clean killing you? Well, they shouldn't be. And even though you smell clean, that clean may not be so good for you. So to unpack this complicated issue, because it is very complicated, is our toxin elimination doctor. She is Dr. Tammara Combs. Welcome, Doc.
Thank you so much, Dr. LaJoyce. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm glad you have taken personally, educating your viewers to make sure we know how to keep our homes and our families safe.
Definitely. It's an overlooked topic, and it shouldn't be, actually. We should be paying more attention to it, especially now since we are spending time indoors. And I sort of pushed this program ahead several weeks because I did have you on the radar. But the other day when we were having a snowstorm, when they give you the hour by hour of when the storm is going to be worse, and our storm lasted over a few days. We had a winter weather advisory that extended over quite a few days. And in the process of reading all of the things from the Weather Channel, they had indoor pollutant toxicity was up 183%. And I went, now's the time to call Doc. So I jumped on the phone to call you because we are not only trapped in our homes because of weather, but we are also under quarantine because of the pandemic. And when we are now making an effort to keep our homes clean and to keep viruses out, or the virus out, that we are probably using more cleaning products than ever.
Now that is true, and I'll tell you, even before the pandemic, the EPA was already saying that our indoor air quality was way worse than our outdoor air quality. Now you couple that with the fact that people have been spraying Lysol everywhere and using bleach all over their homes. Our indoor air quality has gone down through the floor. Like, it's gotten really worse. And so it turns out that when Grandma used to tell you to go outside to get some fresh air, there was a lot of wisdom in that advice. But now you guys are all snowed in, and we've been quarantined, and with all these curfews and people saying stay home. So we definitely want to talk today and break down this whole idea that we should not be using some of those things that we grew up using in our homes, because it's definitely making us and our families sick.
Oh, yes. And I had an experience with that and made a radical conversion in my home. My daughter was just using some Pine Sol, full strength, to clean up behind the dog. And usually I have it in spray bottles, diluted with water. But she got the Pine Sol to use its full strength. And it made her have a stomach ache so bad she couldn't go to school the next day. I thought, that's it. I literally packaged up everything and put it outside. didn't know what I was going to use, was going to go back to mixing and blending a lot of things. And then I had the fortunate experience to speak to you the very same week. And I was just like, whatever it is that's going to get all this toxicity out of here, let's sign me up. But first, I want to go to, you have a similar story, right?
I do. And I first want to say, let me apologize for using acronyms. When I said EPA, you knew exactly what I meant, Dr. LaJoyce, but sometimes people don't know the TLAs, the three-letter acronyms that we use. So I want to say Environmental Protection Agency. Okay, that's who talks about indoor air quality and those types of things. So I do want to share my story. Before I do that, I do want you guys to make sure you mash on that like button if this information is good for you. And if you want to share it, make sure you share it to your friends and family so they can join us live right now. But the story that I want to share is one from my husband. It was crazy. We weren't married yet. Okay. So you guys know how it is. You want to clean up before your significant other comes over and you want the house smelling great. So he pulled out a few products, and I'm going to tell you what he used, but he pulled out a few products. He went about cleaning his home, right? He used bleach. He used 409. He used Windex, trying to get the house really nice and spiffy for me. And so when I got there, though, he wasn't there. And he told me what time to meet him after church. So I got to his place. He wasn't there. At this point, I had good girlfriend status, so I had a key. I let myself in. And all I saw on the floor was a nebulizer and valves of albuterol everywhere, meaning something bad happened where he needed his nebulizer. He had a severe asthma attack. And y'all, he drove himself to the hospital, which is crazy. And that is where we spent the next week. And I am here to make a declaration that cleaning your home should not be a death sentence. And yet,
That's
for
right.
so many, it is. Yeah, for so
And they
many
don't
it is.
even
So we're
know.
going to talk about that. Yeah, we don't know, right? And a lot of times we say ignorance is bliss, but not in this case. And ignorance just means without knowledge. So we want to make sure that we dig into this today and bring you guys that knowledge, because we don't want something like that to happen to your family, like what happened with Dr. LaJoyce's daughter or my now husband.
And we have to really understand that we really do perish for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Even though it's unbeknownst to us, that still doesn't negate the fact that we're perishing. Just because you don't know that something is harming you doesn't mean that it's not. So that, and there you have it, ignorance is bliss part. It is not bliss. It can be damning. It can be detrimental to your health. It can kill you. I have a clip that I want to show you that underscores sort of the compliance of what had happened, what had occurred. What had happened was what has occurred in our nation. And it all started quite a long time ago. Take a look at this.
Most Americans believe that the products purchased at the grocery store are regulated by the government and are safe for us to use, when actually most of these products are regulated by a law that was passed over 50 years ago. This federal law is called the Packaging and Labeling Act of 1966, and there's no requirement for products to be safe. There's no requirement for the manufacturer to list every ingredient in the product, and it simply limits the manufacturer's liability by having them place a warning on the product label. The sad reality is that with the vast increase in many disorders over the last number of years, more and more experts agree that it's the unnecessary toxic chemicals we use in our homes and everyday products that are bombarding our bodies and increasing our risk of sickness and disease. Things like ADD, ADHD, allergies, asthma, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, cancer, and so much more. The harsh truth is that the American Cancer Society has stated that the rise of cancer has gone from 1 in 8,000 people back in the 1910s to 1 in 2 for today. The cancer rates quickly changed after World War I, when synthetic chemicals were first introduced into the American household as a way to sell off the huge stockpiles of chlorine that had previously been used as a poisonous gas during the war. This was the era known as the Chemical Age, in all types of toxic chemicals being introduced to American homes, and it has had serious health consequences. Today, The latest report from the Center of Disease Control reports that 1 out of 2 Americans will be diagnosed with cancer due to the exposure to a wide variety of manufactured chemicals used in our homes that are linked to allergies, birth defects, cancer, and behavioral disorders. The EPA did a 15-year study on women and found that those that were more exposed to cleaning and household products had a 54% higher death rate from cancer. As moms, we work hard to keep our families healthy. We use disinfectant spray to try to protect our children from germs. What I didn't once know is that according to 911, every 30 seconds a child is poisoned in the United States, and that household disinfectants are the leading poison hazard for children. And most people believe that the poisoning that is happening because of chemicals is because they're being ingested or swallowed, when in fact, most poisonings are occurring because of inhalation or absorption through the skin.
How about that? Say more, Doc.
Well, let me tell you, after Chris's incident and after we ended up spending that week in the hospital, I went to town trying to find some research, and I came across this brochure. I'll put it up on the screen real quick for you guys to see it.
Let me get it. Let me get it.
It's right here.
They can't see it yet, though.
I want you guys to see this.
Anything that we can, I want to say something though, as you're getting that together. The stronger laws are really needed to be instituted to eradicate toxic chemicals from our homes. And that law, they said that was in 1966. Well, 40 years later, in June of 2016, President Obama did institute, he signed the Luttenberg Act, finally reforming the 40-year-old law after more than a decade of effort. And unfortunately, though, after 4 years of Trump, they worked really hard to stall that process. But now the Biden administration has an opportunity to do better so that we could at least get labeling on our products.
Yes. So what's crazy is, people don't even have, manufacturers don't have to disclose to us what's actually in our products. They only have to stick that warning label on, like you just said, because of the Fair Packaging and Labeling Act. So I made the mistake of believing because I could buy it in the store, it must be safe. And that is so far from true. So the brochure that was just on the screen is called, "Is Your Home a Healthy Home?" And the subtitle is "How Common Household Chemicals May Be Gradually Making You and Your Family Sick." And this, I didn't know, right? I had an idea. This is when, before I decided to dive head into figuring out what was happening with all these toxins. But this is what I want y'all to see. It says that scientists and doctors are discovering that there's a connection between our increased use of household chemicals and the increased incidences of chronic illnesses like cancer, asthma, ADD, ADHD, nervous disorders, birth defects, infertility, like all these things that that we either talk about and some things that we don't talk about, like infertility. These are really common issues, and they're linked directly to the toxins that we bring into our home and that we are allowed to buy in the grocery stores because we don't understand just how toxic they are.
Here's a signal when you say understanding how toxic they are. If you just walk down that aisle, I literally do avoid it. I literally have to hold my breath when I go anywhere perpendicular to it. And I definitely do not walk down that aisle anymore. It used to set me off. And I did not understand what was happening. Why was I choking? Why was in this one particular aisle? And I was like, well, I'm just not going to go down that aisle.
Yeah, for sure. It's a test, right? And so I'm glad you brought that up because this is something else that I coach on. You talked about walking down the aisle and being able to smell the ingredients, but remember that every bottle is closed.
Yes.
So how is it that you can smell it and the bottles are closed? It's because of leaching. So the toxic chemicals that are in those bottles are actually leaching out. And
Mm-hmm.
you can smell it so much because you're walking through an aisle where, there are concentrated bottles, meaning a lot in a small space. But now you bring them home, you have a little bit in the kitchen, a little bit in the laundry room, a little bit in the bathrooms. It's spread all over your home. And
Yes.
now you have those chemicals leaching in different parts of your house.
And now you have the cumulative effect.
Yes,
And
for
I want
sure.
you to look at this next clip because what I want to know is this. Show us, Chris.
Sadly, these poisonings are completely avoidable if only they were making a decision to purchase safer products. What's interesting is that the manufacturer Monsanto spent 30 years covering up the fact that Agent Orange was in their very popular Lysol cleaning product. Who knows how many people were harmed by this? What I want to know is, if a product label says precautionary statements, caution, poison, corrosive, danger, or maybe fatal, should it really be in your home? These are all keywords that say these products contain toxic chemicals, and you are increasing your family's risk of sickness and disease by using them. Is it surprising to you that Cascade has a chemical that increases your risk of liver poisoning? Why does Tide still have ingredients in it that have been banned in Europe for years? Ingredients that are known to increase the risk of allergies and asthma. 409 has been a common multi-purpose cleaner for decades. But why does it have phenol in it? That's been linked to cancer. And why does Windex have ingredients that increase our risk of reproductive disorders? It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense at all. Why would we have something with a skull and bones on it? And it also doesn't make sense to ingest it, even though we had a former resident of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue suggesting that if we ingested the thing with the skull and bones on it, it would prevent the current virus floating in the streets. And that was a lie also. But we willingly pick this up, and it's because it's habitual. It's just like eating. We eat the things or do the things that mama and grandma did because that's what they ate or that's what they purchased. But now as we grow up and we learn better, we should do better.
Yeah, that's so interesting about Lysol because they have been, well, first of all, it does have phenol in it. You heard that in the clip. But that ingestion of phenol is so toxic. I have a note here. It can cause nausea, vomiting, circulatory collapse, paralysis, convulsions, coma, respiratory failure, and cardiac arrest. So why in the world do we keep spraying our children's toys with Lysol, especially the ones where they pick up and put in their mouths?
That's what
We
children do.
spray, yes, we're spraying light switches and all kinds of stuff, things that we touch a lot in our homes, and then we'll go pick up a snack and eat it because we feel like we just disinfected, the things in our home. And that is how ingestion occurs, right? You're touching. Nobody's suggesting that we spray Lysol in our mouths. Well, at least we're not suggesting that. But that is the same thing when you spray it on a surface and then you touch your mouth or you eat something. So we have inadvertently poisoned our children because we didn't understand just how bad Lysol is. And I have another article here that talks about dioxin. Okay, so that's from Lysol. It contains dioxin. It's a deadly ingredient. But there was a Danish doctor who did a study, and he concluded that all American children now are born with dioxin in their blood.
Isn't that something?
All. And I mean, I was like, really?
It breaks my heart.
Yes, all. It does. And it's because dioxin is one of those things that can be passed down through the bloodline, through the umbilical cord. So the mothers are passing that dioxin off to their children.
In fact, umbilical cord studies are proving now that there are as many as up to 122 toxins passed from mother to baby through the umbilical cord. And this is just one of the unsuspecting things that's being passed on to a newborn.
Right. And whenever I see a woman in the store, either with her children or with child, and she's buying Lysol, I just want to go smack it out of her hand and say, no, don't do it. Right. But we educate and then we change our behaviors. But in this same study with the scientist, he talked about how dioxin exposure is linked to lower IQ, withdrawn and depressed behavior, attention deficits, hyperactivity, and an alteration of the immune system.
Case in point. Case in point. This is why we're having this conversation, because the last thing we need in an effort to keep our homes clean right now with the pandemic running wild in the streets is to suppress the immune system any further. It's already bad enough that good eating habits are not instilled. Then these cleaning habits of old are being instilled and hampering the immune system and suppressing it from being able to do its job. It's really, shall I say, it really breaks my heart to know that just with the alteration of a few things, but I don't think any mother willingly does this to instill harm. Nobody does this to instill harm. We just simply do not know.
Right. And it goes back to education, right? We want to make sure that we're educating on these topics, and that's why I'm so grateful for your platform, Dr. LaJoyce. And I want to remind people again to make sure you like this video and even subscribe to this channel. I know I have subscribed, and I press that little notification button so that when Dr. LaJoyce is on, I want to be listening to Ask the Good Doctor. She always brings us great content.
Well, thank you. Well, now that you know about the dangers of some of the grocery store products, you should know you have a choice. Listen to this.
Now that you know about the dangers of grocery store products, you have a choice. To continue putting your family in harm's way, or to decide to simply switch stores and save money to shop for safer, smarter products. The choice is yours. If you're somewhat skeptical, I completely understand, because it's not something that's been openly discussed. They don't advertise these things. So don't just take my word for it, do your research and find that what we're saying here is true. Only when we are fully educated will you start to understand why so many of us are struggling and sick today.
That's powerful. Do your own research, and then we'll find out why people are struggling and sick today. I'm going to tell you that every person who comes to see me, I have a questionnaire, not just about what you're eating, drinking, and how you're peeing and pooping, although that's there. But I inquire about all of the products that they're currently using. And with a great degree of certainty, we can tie all of that toxicity back to your initial complaint. And then we just switch out a little bit at a time or a lot at a time. Like me, I had a reason to make a radical conversion when my daughter got ill. Like Dr. Tammara, you had a reason as well with your husband sick in the hospital. How long was he in the pulmonary unit?
He was for 7 days, for a full 7 days, and 3 of those days in the ICU.
So he was in critical condition because of cleaning his home.
Yes, absolutely. And that was enough to make us say enough. We went home immediately, got rid of all of our cleaning products, but we didn't know what to switch to. So, that's another thing that we can help with. But yes, that was the first step. And we made a radical transformation because it was just that serious. We almost lost him.
Oh my gosh, that is frightening. Mm-hmm. I want to know this. Now we are in the advent of staying home more because of the pandemic. We are probably cleaning more, and if we're not, we should be. And a lot of people are making their own products. I know I had done that as well. I promise you I was exhausting myself in the process. But I would have to say that when you do things that are natural, your indoor air quality improves. And if you've been following The Good Doctor, or if you just click back just a couple of videos, we had sustainability experts talking about clean air and clean water. Within the confines of your own home, you have an ability to control your air quality. As you are cleaning, open up those windows and those doors, switch to a cleaner and healthier product. But I want you to watch this news clip that we're going to show you right now that underscores absolutely every single thing that we're doing. And it's more like a little expose. Take a peek.
Now an ABC4 News health alert and the air dangers. A new report says it's not the air outside you should be worried about. Instead, it's what you're breathing inside your home. The night team's Christina Rendon is live in our kitchen with the concern. Christina.
Well, do you really know what's under your kitchen or bathroom sink? Well, new research shows that everything from air fresheners to products like these may be harmful to your lungs or contain formaldehyde, a known carcinogen.
Clorox Cleaner, one tough cleaner.
Dozens of products promise to work best.
Calcium, lime, rust, it doesn't matter, baby, kaboom.
But are they the best for your health?
It's been really well. It smells good.
Many name brand cleaners aren't making the grade, according to the Environmental Working Group. They researched over 2,000 household products and found only a few cleaners contain safe ingredients or tell you what's actually inside on the label.
I'm surprised. Like, for instance, with food, you have to list everything, every ingredient that's on there.
Take all-purpose cleaners. Out of 400 tested, only 5.3% got an A. 39.6% got an F. Like Clorox Cleanup, researchers found links to asthma. In bathroom cleaners, 2.4% scored high, but 56.5% failed, including Kaboom Foamtastic. The EWG says it has chemicals that could cause cancer. Carly Hagland and Martha Fetzer are concerned.
Not really so much the cancer causing, but certainly things like respiratory diseases and asthma.
The laundry list continues with, well, laundry. 44% got an F, like Downy Ultra Fabric Softener and Gain. The detergent may be linked to developmental and reproductivity toxins.
If you're that sensitive or allergic or are concerned, then it's up to you to seek out the products that suit you.
I just think you need to be informed before you purchase anything.
And Utah's Poison Control Center says it's normal for products to not list everything contained on the labels, and they're only harmful if you abuse their use. We've put the entire list of products and grades on our website for you to decide. Go to abc4.com and click on the orange box. Live in our kitchen, Christina Rendon, ABC4 News, Night Team.
Only harmful if you abuse it. Ha! But 39.6% of cleaners got an F, and 44% of laundry detergents got an F. Really? How do you not abuse using laundry detergent? That's almost like the same, that is the same to me as placing a warning label on the side of fluoride toothpaste and saying harmful only if swallowed. What?
My favorite is when they put that same label on the Fruity Tooty Kids toothpaste, because of course kids are going to eat toothpaste.
Absolutely. I was 10 years old, reading the back of the toothpaste, handling my business in the bathroom, and I read the warning on the back of the toothpaste and screamed to my mother, "Mommy, call the Poison Control Center. Stevie swallows toothpaste."
Yes. Can I share? I want to share something else on screen, okay, Dr. LaJoyce, about formaldehyde from this clip that you just showed us here. This
and what, you know what? Hold that thought, Dr. Tammara, because it's time for us to take a break. When we come back, we're going to see your formaldehyde clip, but don't go away. When we come back, more from Dr. Tammara Combs Williams on toxicity in your homes, and is your home killing you? I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, and we'll be back after this.
Hi there. Thank you for joining me. I am at the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa, and I am in a
therapy room where you can come and get pampered and get hands laid on you. I had the most amazing massage the other day. It was just totally awesome. Listen, they curate all kinds of things special just for you. Peppermint, hot stone, maple syrup. We are in the land of maple syrup. So won't you join us for the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway, June 2021. I'll be here. I want you to be here too. Don't miss it. Oh, these are all of the beautiful things on the ceiling at the formal restaurant at the Junction at the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa. Right here, this is the chef's table where you can sit and have an incredible meal. I am here to tell you that the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa has the most amazing restaurants. The food is farm to table and it is fabulous. So join us for the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway in June 2021. Hi there, we are at the outdoor pool at the Essex. Look at this wonderful waterfall. You stand under this, and this is like, oh my gosh, it's exfoliating. Wonderful. What a beautiful poolside to sit at the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa. Don't miss it. We'll be here for the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway, June 2021. I'll be here. Join me.
Yes, yes. Join us at the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway in June 2021. We're going to have 2 weekends for you to choose from because we're keeping our numbers small. There actually aren't that many rooms left. They're talking about expanding us just a little bit, but we'll see. And yours truly, Dr. Tammara Combs, will be there with us, and she's going to have the amazing beauty bar to teach us about the ugly side of beauty and do beauty makeovers with non-toxic beauty products. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
That's going to be so much fun, and I'm glad we get to do 2 weekends. That means that, unfortunately, I have to stay the whole week. So, I'm so excited.
So excited. We'll do everything and then nothing. That'll be wonderful. So if you would like to be there with us, send me an email, drbrookshire@outlook.com. That's drbrookshire@outlook.com. Dr. Tammara was about to make a point about formaldehyde. And I always say that formaldehyde and organic food don't mix. So if you're spending money on organic food and making every effort to live a wellness lifestyle, the first thing that we have to get rid of in your home is formaldehyde. Tell them why, Dr. Tammara.
Okay, so formaldehyde, you guys, is found in a lot of products that we can just buy off the shelf. So this is a list that I grabbed from the Mayo Clinic's website from their Department of Dermatology. And the reason why the Department of Dermatology would be interested in some of these things is because you saw from one of the clips earlier that Dr. LaJoy showed, anything that you put on your skin ends up in your bloodstream in 26 seconds. So look at this list of products from the Mayo Clinic and tell me if you use some of these things. Like, drop us a note in the chat if you have been using some of these things, like Dawn detergent, Dawn dish soap. That's on the list. Revlon shampoo, Suave shampoo. These are all on here. What about Wizard Wicks, those plugins? And now they make some little ones that you can put in your car. So now you're in a little tiny confined space with your family and just breathing in formaldehyde, circulating it all over your house, in your car. Yes, exactly. So, yes, Colgate Palmolive shampoos, like this, these have formaldehyde in them. And I'll bet you some of you might run around your house right now gathering some of those things to look on the back of the bottle to see, oh, does mine say formaldehyde? Well, formaldehyde has 18 derivatives. So you may never see formaldehyde listed on the container, but rest assured it is there. So
that is very tricky. 18 derivatives of formaldehyde. So it's not going to say formaldehyde like I've heard you say before, good luck looking for formaldehyde.
Yes,
it's almost
exactly
like it's almost like looking for MSG in the food, but it's labeled as something else.
Right. That's exactly right.
Since Shay Francella has commented, how do you abuse laundry detergent? Exactly.
By washing your clothes, right? Something that we are committed to doing for our lifetime. But yeah, that's just insane. Can you put that back up for a second, Chris? I want to go to, let's see if I can advance. Oh.
And these individual products that are listed there, make note of them. Tell people that you know, tell your family members that, listen, this stuff that we have been using our entire lives is really the source of name a relative. I guarantee you that was a source of something that was making them sick. If we did autopsies on people who have died and checked what is in their bloodstream, we'd be amazed.
Yeah, so Dr. LaJoyce, to that point, I'm going to make this quick point that I'm going to share the next slide with you. So can you take it off the screen for one quick second? So you talked about doing autopsies and finding things in people's, in the cadavers, right, the dead bodies. Mm-hmm. One of those ingredients that was found in people who had Alzheimer's was aluminum. Okay, and we know that aluminum can enter our bodies in a couple of different ways, but the main way aluminum enters our body is through our deodorant. So if you have deodorant that says antiperspirant, by definition, it has aluminum in it. And aluminum has been connected to things like Alzheimer's, breast cancer, and things like that. So you want to even be careful about things that are natural. And I do tell people, watch out for that word natural, because arsenic is natural too, right? But it's not good for you. And so, yeah, even some things that are naturally found, like aluminum, may not necessarily be good for you.
And let me just state right here that I heard a doctor state that, of course, a vaccine has aluminum in it.
Yikes.
I'm giving my hardest side eye right now. What? And that's okay with you. Yeah, avoid. So when you talk about their use and their abuse, Sterling Laylock says, he was one of our guests here, he said, it's difficult to pull on a garment, lace up a pair of sneakers, store kitchen leftovers, build a home, and on without involving chemicals from oil and gas, because it's all about the money. Yes, Sterling, it is all about the money. When we're talking about cleaning our homes, I'm sorry, Dr. Tammara, were you going to interject?
I was going to show one more thing. So, okay. All right, so that was our list of formaldehyde, but I wanted you guys to see the plugins, right? We talked about Wizardwix, but I wanted you to see that the basic ingredient, so we talked about the EPA earlier, the Environmental Protection Agency that they measure indoor and outdoor air quality. This came from their website, and it's showing that, these the basic ingredient in these air fresheners is formaldehyde, and they're thought to cause brain damage. Okay, so that's not good. And then the last thing I'll show you on this topic of formaldehyde, because I really want to drive it home to you guys that it's all over the place. This is an article from Johnson & Johnson when they got caught with toxic ingredients in their baby shampoo, No More Tears. The two main toxic, cancer-causing ingredients that they had in these products was formaldehyde and quaternary disinfectants. Okay, both of those were found in Johnson's No More Tears. So we know that they don't manufacture their products in Europe the same way they do here in the U.S., and that's because we don't have a governmental agency protecting us like the Europeans do. But I want you to see the last line of this article, because it's really, it's a clear indicator that somebody is out to trick us, okay? And that last line says, the announcement does not cover the company's non-baby products, talking about Neutrogena and Aveeno. So they left the formaldehyde in Neutrogena and Aveeno, and they left the quaternary disinfectants in those products. And they are thought to be cancer-causing, the ingredient, the formaldehyde and the quaternary disinfectant. So I just wanted you guys to see that. We're not making this up, right? It's all over the place.
It is all over the place. With a couple of clicks of internet on the internet, you can absolutely do your homework. I have a question for you from Facebook from Lady V. She wants to know, how am I going to kill COVID without using bleach?
Yes, I love this question. I use something in my home called Soluguard Botanical. Okay, and Soluguard is it's the only natural, I said natural, but it's the only botanical disinfectant that is EPA approved to kill coronavirus when used as directed. So, if you email Dr. LaJoyce, make sure you give them your email address again. Yes. I can absolutely show you what we've converted. Like, I can show you the product that you might be using and what we've swapped out for. Okay, because we want all of you to be informed. Dr. LaJoyce has made that same switch. We use Soluguard Botanical in our home, and it absolutely works against coronavirus.
Absolutely. And I know, too, that one of the things, Soluguard is very effective, by the way. One of the things that is really disconcerting for me is the fact that cleaning your home just once a week can damage your lungs just as if you were a smoker. Can you say more about that, please?
So this was interesting. It was a 20-year longitudinal study, and it was the American Thoracic Society and some others that were involved in this study. But 6,235 participants over 20 years, okay? Half of them were smokers. They smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for 20 years. So that's 20 cigarettes a day for 20 years. Crazy. So you know that their lungs really look bad at the end of 20 years. But here's what's interesting. The other half, they clean their houses once a week for 20 years. Well, at the end of the study, their lungs looked and performed the same. Now, the people who were cleaning their homes were non-smokers for that whole 20 years. But it proved once and for all that cleaning your house is just as damaging to your lungs as smoking a pack of cigarettes. And that's cleaning your house once a week was just as damaging to your lungs as smoking a pack of cigarettes per day. And in this study, they actually listed the products that were used in the home. It was things that were in the first video. And if you guys are just joining us, go to the beginning of the video, you'll see some of the products. But it was the Clorox wipe, the Clorox cleanup, the 409, the Lysol. It was those types of products that were used. And that is really, really scary information. You hear sometimes of people dying from lung cancer who never smoked a day in their lives. And this is the connection that we've been looking for.
Very much so. I had a very dear friend, Audrey Moore. We were friends since third grade. Her mother was fastidious about cleaning the house. And it was, of course, Audrey's responsibility to make sure the house was clean. And whenever we went over there, we would just help her clean the house so we could get out the house, right? You can't leave the house until you clean the house. So
that's right.
She wanted scrubbing bubbles sprayed in the sink after every single use and wipe down the sink. There could be no water stains. It couldn't be wet, but it had to be. Her mother was of the mindset that if I don't smell it, it's not clean. She used bleach in every container of washing dishes, and not the dishwasher, but hand washing the dishes. And our skin is the largest organ for absorption as well as elimination. And Audrey died late last year from lung cancer, and she never smoked. And I said it was all of those cleaners that mom made her use in the house, all of those years that she was subjected to when she had to clean and make the house smell clean. And it was plagued. It was every known cleaning product down the chemical aisle in the grocery store that we had to use. And it was really something. And I'm going to tell you something. When you step away from using traditional products, you can't be around them. It really does something. It makes my eyes tear, my throat closes, that I get red around the nose. I literally get a bona fide allergic reaction from those other chemicals now that I'm no longer using them.
Yeah, and I think what we're learning is that some of those deaths and some of the disease that that we see in our nation are totally avoidable if we would take some simple steps, right? And Dr. LaJoyce, you were an expert at making your own products. I'm telling you, I'm not going to do it. I want the lazy way to be healthy.
I'm going to tell you something. I was exhausted doing it. I was exhausted.
Yes. So we're
Now,
talking about simple steps and simple changes, right?
That's right, simple changes. And we have a question here, actually, another question from Facebook from Marvin. He wants to know, how can you prevent harm from cleaning household and household products? How can you prevent harm from cleaning and household products? Well, Marvin, I'm going to tell you that one of the things that I do is when you come to see me, I detoxify that entire body, because guaranteed that if you're using traditional household products and cleaning products, their harm has been instilled. And so we clean up everything. So don't worry. It's the harm that has been inflicted upon you. We can work back from that. Yes, Dr. Tammara, your response?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm going to say. Email Dr. LaJoyce, and she can again give you some of those the one-to-one comparisons. If you're leaving this, switch to this. Right, simple steps.
Very simple steps. And we are going to give you an opportunity to do that. So if you contact me, DrBrookshire at Outlook.com, we'll be glad to get in touch with you one-on-one and walk you through this process of how you can make the radical conversion yourself. Because I wanted to give those products away because some of those bottles were not even empty. But I thought, why am I giving poison to someone else?
Yes, that's very interesting. I want to tell you an observation. So you said, you thought about giving it to somebody else. I had just gone shopping to re-up on my laundry detergent. In that video, you guys saw that the lady had gained. You could smell my kids coming from a block away. Their clothes smelled so good. And not to mention that those the chemicals in those laundry detergents made my youngest one suffer from eczema for years, and I didn't even understand that was a contributing factor. But thank God we got rid of that. But I'll tell you this, my sons and I did what we called the chemical roundup. We went around the house. We put all the chemicals in a big, big box. And my oldest one helped me push that box to the corner to sit it next to the trash can. Mm-hmm. Well, when our trash man came, he rolled away the trash and he left the box there. But he left me a note and he told me where to take that box to properly dispose of those toxic chemicals, because they were not allowed to put those in the landfill.
Whoa.
And a light bulb moment went off for me. You mean to tell me you can't take this with the trash, but I had it in my house? This was a wake up moment for me, for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's a wake up moment for us all.
Yes.
And in that video, that kaboom, I had a neighbor across the street many years ago, and she died from mesothelioma because she was a full-time cleaning lady. And she told me about kaboom for soap scum. We live on the mountains. The water's really hard, have well water. And this kaboom did its thing. But we would use that kaboom and run out the door till it got to the point where I said, girl, I cannot use this stuff. I don't know how you could stand it. She was like, oh, I use it in every house. I use it everywhere I go. So that stuff is crazy. Like the smell of that kaboom, it might have done its thing, but I'd rather rub harder with some vinegar, to be honest with you. But now I want the lazy way out, and I just want to have my good products and leave it at that. Dr. Tammara, parting words.
I want to share one more thing before I go to my parting words, and I know we're running out of time, but I think this is really important. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. But I want to talk. We didn't talk as much about bleach. We touched on it, but I want to just say one thing about bleach, because I know people are cleaning with bleach, and for some of us, we grew up putting bleach in our dishwater. Okay, so we had already talked about Dawn dish soap. Okay, but this is super important to me. So this article is from the Des Moines Register. It talks about this 2-year-old who died after inhaling bleach. Now, we've been talking about ingesting these products, but the number one cause of accidental poisoning is inhalation. So just smelling it, not tasting it, not touching it, not rolling around in it, just smelling it. So this baby, Jordan Wesley Price, died from pulmonary edema. Like his lungs kept filling up and swelling, and they ended up losing him after 1 month. So he was in the hospital for a month before they lost him. And I know most of us don't read the back of a bleach bottle, but I just brought this label because I want y'all to see what it says. And it says, avoid breathing vapors and use in a well-ventilated area. Well, there's no way to not breathe the vapors if you're actually using it, especially if you're putting in things like your dishwater. So I just wanted to share that, Dr. LaJoyce, because I think it's so important, especially because now with the virus out there, people are cleaning more, like you said, hopefully, and they're using things like Lysol and bleach. So I wanted to address that.
They are indeed. But you should know there are things that can keep your home spick and span, nice and healthy, kill germs, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal that do the job, but will not kill you. So Dr. Tammara, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so much. We will see you again next month, though, for our Ugly Side of Beauty presentation. And we look forward to seeing you in Vermont at the Beauty Bar, where you're going to give us all a beauty makeover with some non-toxic makeup. Oh, that's another story altogether. Looking forward to hearing that from you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And that does it for me. I'd like to thank my team, IW supervising producer, Chris Green, technical producer, announcer, Indy Cheryl Hines, and our moderator, Black Tea. And remember to let your eyes shine, cut back on the wine, get good food fast, and go easy on the greasy. Until next time, I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, here to help you attain and maintain your perfect health. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next week, God bless you.
Hi there. Thank you for joining me. I am at the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa, and I am in a therapy room where you can come and get pampered and get hands laid on you. I had the most amazing massage the other day. It was just totally awesome. Listen, they curate all kinds of things special just for you. Peppermint, hot stone, maple syrup. We are in the land of maple syrup. So won't you join us for the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway, June 2021. I'll be here. I want you to be here too. Don't miss it. These are all of the beautiful things on the ceiling at the formal restaurant at the Junction at the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa. Right here, this is the chef's table where you can sit and have an incredible meal. I am here to tell you that the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa has the most amazing restaurants. The food is farm to table, and it is fabulous. So join us for the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway in June 2021. Hi there, we are at the outdoor pool at the Essex. Look at this wonderful waterfall. You stand under this, and this is like, oh my gosh, it's exfoliating. Wonderful. What a beautiful poolside to sit at the Essex Culinary Resort and Spa. Don't miss it. We'll be here for the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway, June 2021. I'll be here. Join me.